Thank you. Pages are not in order. Before I begin, I would like to apologize to everyone. I usually do wear Crocs, and I'm not wearing them now. I apologize. Good evening. For those who don't know me, my name is Yonah Kohn, and tonight I am celebrating with you by declaring I am no longer a victim, I am a survivor. To go from feeling like a victim to feeling like a survivor, however, is very difficult. It does not just happen. Making such a transition only happens if someone feels safe. A place where you can talk things through without fear of judgment. For myself, that place was Footsteps. But before I go on, I would like to tell you a little bit about myself. I come from a Hasidic background. My family was not part of any particular Hasidic sect. Luckily, we were Irish. We were ensconced in the Hasidic community of Borough. However, we did not rock the boat. We played our parts. Everything changed when I was 12 years old. Not too long before my bar mitzvah, I was abused and raped by a Rebbe in my class, in my yeshiva. He wasn't my Rebbe, but he was a Rebbe in the yeshiva. In deciding to report what had happened, I decided who better than to go to my actual Rebbe, my teacher. I thought I was doing the right thing. I was wrong. I had a difficult time expressing myself, but it was rather clear and it was very evident, at least to me, that he understood what I was saying. Rather than being offered what most people would assume is comfort and support, my Rebbe slapped me across the face and he said something that I will never ever forget. He said, which translates into, we're not allowed to talk about such things. We don't talk about it. None of this is shocking to me at the time when he told it to me, because like I said, he himself turned out to be an abuser and a raper, which he did to me. And instead of talking about it, the abuse and rape, which continued for several years, I did what I was told and I kept quiet. Remembering those fateful words that we are not allowed to talk about such things. Thinking that there was no hope, I decided I would try and kill myself. Twice I tried to commit suicide and twice I failed, all by the age of 14. But like my abuse, like everything else, I guess in a different community that looks bad, suicide attempts and abuse was never discussed, was kept quiet. It was never spoken about. Instead, my parents decided, oh, let's send him to the first yeshiva that would take him in, because the abuse was not that important, the rape was not that important, suicide was not that important. We have to have him in a yeshiva. And they finally found a yeshiva to take me, but at least the abuse stopped. So although it didn't address my needs, one good thing in my life happened. Skipping ahead, I went from being Hasidic to secretly going to OTD, so this is round 2 for me, to being yeshivish. Yes. Being yeshivish was definitely different. In other words, with my family, it was less than ideal, but at least I was still frum, and as if being frum was the only important thing. I stopped rocking the boat. Yes, they figured I was rocking it enough and that this was it. And life moved on. Got married, still married, I think. Had 4 children, and I even went back to my roots and I became more and more Hasidic. In late 2012, early 2013, everything changed for me yet again. There was a case that became very blew up in the media, it was blowing up all over social media. A gentleman by the name of Nehemiah Weberman, for those who don't know him, he was a therapist, an unlicensed therapist, I should say, in the Satmar community, who was convicted and sentenced to 100+ years in prison, which thankfully is still there. And that story took on a life of its own, and I tried to ignore it, but I couldn't. I gained firsthand knowledge about this case that I should not have from his attorneys. And I sort of realized that more or less very similar things happened to me, happened to this young lady. I snapped. I went berserk, I guess, crazy. My anxiety went through the roof, and I became, unlike now, a nervous wreck. I was desperate. I shudder to think what I could have done if I did not have my kids. My kids are my life, as much as they drive me nuts. Also, I shudder to think what I may have attempted, which I've already attempted in the past, had I not heard about Footsteps. I am proud to say, and thankful to say, Footsteps saved my life. My goal was never to become secular. As I heard from the fruit community, mistakenly of course, that Footsteps had an agenda. And that agenda, I heard, was to pull people away from Yiddishkeit, which at the time I wanted no part of. That wasn't anything I was interested in. However, I needed a place where I could express my thoughts and feelings, and I had nothing left to lose, I figured. So if I had nothing left to lose, why not? I remember it as if it were yesterday. After a quick email and a quick phone call, in less than an hour on a Monday afternoon on my lunch break from work, I walked into the space and immediately felt something I never felt before. I felt safe. Chani Getter did my intake, and for the first time in my life, talking about my past was okay. After decades of keeping my secrets all to myself, I finally was able to open up with no fear and no judgment. I then attended Footsteps 1, a small, intimate support group for new members. People listened, people cried, but most importantly, I felt as if people cared. For the very first time, I felt safe. Jesse, still can't pronounce your last name correctly. I'm not even gonna try. Footsteps social worker was there every step of the way. He helped me find a therapist at the Crime Victims Treatment Center, which I still go to every Tuesday, unless I forget. I am proud to say that I love my therapist. I finally found a therapist who had one motive: to help me. And I think this is important. I finally found a therapist with no ulterior motive besides my well-being. Betsy Feverkant, I think I pronounced that correctly. Can't say Betsy. If I can speak on behalf of all of us, we're really glad that you're able to come today, and can't wait to see you back at the space. She's the Director of Support Services, helped me land an internship that has since morphed into a job as an audio engineer with Kindia Labs. Kindia Labs is a conceptual animation video production company. Who knew a Hasidic kid growing up in the 80s and 90s would be able to combine his passion for music, minus country, and a newfound love for science would end up working on projects touching subjects such as cancer research, genome sequencing, and mental health, and not to mention future driverless flying cars. At Footsteps, I discovered an inner strength to stand up to the shame and stigma of my past trauma. Tonight, at Footsteps Celebrates, I can proudly tell all of you and myself from 20 years ago that I no longer fear the shame and stigma of keeping a secret. To anyone keeping a secret, any secret, you can and should talk about it. Knowingly or unknowingly, the Frum community used fear to control me. But today, May 18th, 2017, 35 years and 2 days from when I was born, I finally get to publicly declare no more. I will not allow fear to control me and the people I love. Speaking about the people I love, ladies and gentlemen, my beautiful wife is here tonight. Standing by me while I'm going through a major transition and having to deal with my demons could not have been easy. Many spouses, as some of us know, would not have stuck around, but you did. Your presence here means the world to me. Thank you for coming, and thank you for supporting me. I love you. To the Footsteps, oops, skip the part. During the past couple of years, that's because my prompters that I requested didn't come. During the past couple of years, I have met and interacted with so many brave and wonderful individuals who are hurting because they dare speak to their truth. It's got to stop. To the Footsteps community who blazed the path for me, I say thank you. Thank you for making me feel more like a survivor and less like a victim. To our supporters who make all of this possible, I appreciate you and thank you. To Footsteps staff, thank you for all the pizza. But more importantly, thank you for your kindness. In conclusion, I know you're all relieved. Am I over to 7 minutes yet? Since I am meeting many of you for the first time tonight, I would like to share one more additional detail about me you might not have otherwise known. I am a person, considering what I've gone through, who loves to laugh. And no one in the world was able to make me laugh quite like somebody we just lost not too long ago, legendary headline comedian Don Rickles. If you want the story about how I got to know him, that's at the after party. I have enjoyed, embarrassingly, almost 12.5 of his concerts. And it never failed to put me into just fits of laughter from the beginning until the end, except for one time. It was at this time when I was particularly vulnerable, and this was going back, I would say, 5 or so years ago, that I figured I would end it. But I wanted to end it off laughing, ironically enough. So I made sure to be around where Don Rickles was. And sure enough, he made me laugh, and I forgot about everything until the end. And at the end, as all the jokes were done, and I thought, this is my last night on this existence, he said 12 words, I believe it's 12, let me count. As the orchestra was playing its final note. I'm trying to dramatize it a little bit. And as the curtains were closing, this I do remember, the curtains were closing, he said something that resonated with me, and until security literally lifted me up out of the seat, I did not leave. He said, I wish you what I have, and that's people who care. To all of you out there suffering with the secret, I wish you what I have, and that's people who care. I wish you a community of people like Footsteps, a community of people who care. And last but not least, thank you and good night.